Hmm? Ah!
You're listening to the Run for Your Lives podcast.
Hey everyone, welcome to the show. I'm Daphne.
And I'm Pake.
And this is the Run for Your Lives podcast.
And this week we are covering the 1988 New Kids on the Block hit, The Right Stuff. And it's an interesting one. We don't usually do music, but, sometimes we like to switch it up and do things differently on the podcast. What do you think, Daphne? You excited, ready to do that?
You know what's funny about that? I saw them in concert, like in 89. So, yeah, it wasn't a bad concert. It was fun.
All right, so it'd be fun to break down this song for the next 3 hours.
I don't think I need to revisit any of that. It doesn't really fit our podcast.
I don't know.
Do you have time to watch the movie, or did you watch the movie?
There's a movie for the song?
No, there's a movie that we're covering this week.
The Right Stuff.
No.
Okay.
It's called The Right Stuff.
Yes. By the way, you hear other voices. So I'm bringing along Jeff and Jerry, who you may know as the other half of what is now Buffalo. I'm going to make it official. Bring them over here, too. Yes.
Hey.
Good Buffalo to you.
Mm-hmm.
Good Buffalo to you.
And if you... Yeah.
And hello, everybody. Again, I'm back.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
Twice in 1 week.
You have subjected yourself to this.
And if you're not aware of the Buffalo of everything, we will talk about it later at the end. Stick around and you'll get all that information. But, all right, so I know you said it's not The Right Stuff, which...
No.
Yes, you're correct, because actually the name of the song is You Got It. The Right Stuff is in parentheses.
Yeah, parentheses.
So,
don't forget the parentheses.
Yeah, so...
Yeah.
No, but The Right Stuff is actually a different 80s movie as well.
Right, it's the Philip Kaufman movie. That's what we're covering today, right?
Yeah.
Okay, great.
You mean I watched the wrong movie?
Now I'm all confused. No, this episode, science fiction horror film, comedy film, The Stuff, written and directed by Larry Cohen, released June 14th, 1985.
Yes. I thought this would be a good light one for us to do this week. And
light and fluffy.
Well, very fluffy, yes. I thought this would be a good one for us to do, and I could think of no one better to bring on to talk about this movie than Jerry and Jeff. So I'm excited that you guys have joined us, despite the fact that, oh God, the puns are going to fly. I know it. I'm expecting it. I think I can deal with it.
I feel like, even though we haven't talked about it, we're all definitely trying to make this the closest a Run for Your Lives episode can be to an episode of Buffalo in some way. I think
yes,
it feels right. Enough is never enough.
Yeah, but Daphne, you can never get enough of the puns.
Nope.
It's never enough. Enough is never enough.
One recording is never enough.
This is my 4th recording in 3 days.
Well, before we immerse ourselves in the stuff, which I'm not sure is a really good idea considering, I'm going to give a little look behind the scenes with some production notes. It was filmed in New Paltz, Accord, Kingston, and New York City, New York. Larry Cohen is really known among the horror fans, as he created the It's Alive trilogy, which, oh my God, we should probably cover on here. Although I don't know if Pake can take it. It's quite a trip. But he also did a movie called Q, the Winged Serpent, and that is one I definitely want to cover.
That's the QAnon documentary, right?
No. QAnon documentaries are outside the realm of this podcast.
Are they?
So we will not be covering them.
Yeah, they're pretty scary.
I would argue that they are horror.
Oh, that's true.
It's
okay.
It's post-apocalyptic horror.
True.
And they do make you want to run for your life.
I'd run away from that. Yeah, for sure.
Are you sure it's not pre-post-apocalyptic horror? Like it's heading into it? I don't know.
I don't know. I think 2020 was kind of a minor
True.
apocalypse.
So the budget for this movie was $1.7 million. However, there's no box office information available, although it did get a limited release in the US in June 1985. Did not go on to, invade the world at the box office. However, it was 87 minutes long. Pake, bring us a synopsis.
A delicious, mysterious goo that oozes from the earth is marketed as the newest dessert sensation. But the tasty treat rots more than teeth when zombie-like snackers who only want to consume more of the strange substance at any cost begin infesting the world.
That is pretty cool. Yep. IMDb?
I didn't do anything creative in there.
All right.
I don't have time for that. I spent the whole, 3 hours before that taking notes. So that's where my creativity goes.
3 hours of note-taking for this movie?
Almost, because I pretty much double the movie run time for how long it actually takes to prep and take notes. So
okay. But you found something to actually pause and take a note on. That's pretty amazing. I think because I've already seen this movie, I pretty much knew what I was gonna.
Well, it was more time because it was my first time watching the movie, but because it is so short, I was able to watch it several times in preparation, and so I'll say this: the first time was a great time. Second time was a blast. Third time I fell in love, and now I hope it lasts.
Wow, that's great, Pake. Good job. Yep.
He's so proud of himself.
He is.
He is.
There's always a contest on this podcast because I don't take puns well, and I don't take the jokes well sometimes, and so if it makes me laugh, it's got to be pretty good. And that did, so.
Point for me. Again, this is not Buffalo.
All right.
But
point for Pake.
I'll take a point anyway. I'll award myself a point that is just from myself. That's okay.
Uh-huh. All right. Congratulations on your point. I didn't know we were giving them out.
I didn't know we were supposed to have points.
Well, we are. Because, as our listeners know, when we have guests on, we do not follow our usual format of character dissection.
There was a lot of character dissection in this movie.
That is true. Yeah, but instead...
It was kinetic dissection.
Oh. Mm.
What were you saying, Daphne?
I'm sorry, Daphne.
Please continue.
Okay, so I'm trying to keep things on track. It's not happening.
You're doing great. You're trying.
I don't think I'm succeeding, so that's
you're up
I don't
against
know.
a lot.
Yeah. So our listeners know that we do not follow the character format when we have guests on. We instead have points that we bring up. Everyone has come to the table with a couple of things about the movie that they want to talk about. And so instead of breaking down the characters, although as Jeff has put, a lot of the characters got broken down in this episode by, an all-consuming alien organism.
R.I.P. Charlie.
Oh, chocolate chip Charlie. Man. Okay. So, we always let our guests go first. So, Jerry, you get to go first. What's your first point you want to talk about?
Angles and the commercials. Oh my god. Those were hilarious. Just
what, where's the beef?
Yeah, where's the beef?
Clara Peller
just had we got some cameos.
Cameo there. As soon as I saw her from behind, I went, "Oh my god, it's the Where's the Beef lady."
It is, yeah.
Yeah, and she was sitting at the dinner table with Abe Vigoda.
Yes.
Who I think did finally pass away.
Finally, after all that time we've waited for it. I know.
No, there's been a big thing called, there was a website called isabevigodadead.com or something like that.
That was quite a while ago at this point, though. It's
been a minute.
At least 10 years ago, right?
8 years ago.
Yeah, he passed away in 2016.
Almost, yeah.
All right, so tell us, Jerry. Let's talk about those advertisements that we got to see. I thought you might bring up the models and shooting the commercial that was going on, but are you really?
Well, no, that's part of it. Yes. The commercials, the models are in the commercials.
Models are in the commercials. It's true.
Yeah, because we got the models on the runway. Because no jokes to be made there. When you have beautiful women, slopping down white gelatinous substances.
I can't think of anything.
Nah, no jokes to be made there.
I have nothing to say about that. No, it was a very, very serious scene.
Yeah, very serious scene. And then we have the basketball players dancing in the alley. And then, of course, you have the one model's like, enough is never enough.
Right.
In the most sultry voice she could muster.
I gotta be honest, Jerry, that was hot.
I thought it was awkward, honestly. I'm just like, are you selling food item or are you selling sex or sex with a food item? Because this doesn't seem to match up in my head.
Carl's Jr. did really good with it. So I guess it works.
All products are sex.
The first one that we really see with the when I was a little girl, I thought I'd never love anything more than ice cream. But now that I'm a big girl, I found something I love more. I was like, is this commercial supposed to entice people into buying the stuff? Because that's not the effect it's having on me. I don't think it would. It's kind of scary.
No. That was a scary... it was weird. There were some acting things in this movie that I'm sure we'll talk about that I was just like, I don't know.
There were some definite choices that were made.
Yeah. There's several, a lot of side characters and stuff, like the guy at the radio station near the inn. Or, the factory worker guy that Mo takes out behind the truck later, but when he's talking, it's he's turned away from it. He's like, okay, we're ready to move on in the dialogue. And he's like, no, I have more lines. I'm going to continue to recite them. I'm not done yet.
Well, there were parts of this movie that got cut out in the interest of streamlining it down.
I think they overcorrected because the pacing on this movie is wild.
It is.
Felt like the last season of Game of Thrones with him just let's go to this place. Oh, we're here. Now we're dating out of nowhere. Here's this. Here's that.
Teleportation,
Yep.
Who
Magical
cares?
dragons.
Magical things. Let's just, this movie...
Well, I mean, who had a better story than Jason?
Oh my God, that poor
I've got
kid.
stuff to say, but he's a point that I'll talk about later. But yeah.
So Jerry, let's get back on track. We've talked about some of the commercials, but what were some of the other things you wanted to point out about them?
Oh no, that was it about the commercials. I was just saying the commercials as a whole throughout the movie.
He's just trying to pace his conversations the same way that this movie was. Just get to the point. Done. Move.
Yes. Boom. Done.
Okay. Well then, Jeff, if you can pull yourself away from eating the stuff. Our listeners can't see, but Jeff has a background on Zoom of Jason and his mom trying to feed him the stuff. I think it was his mom. Yeah, and it looks
like... I've got the spoon right next to my mouth here.
Yeah, like he's going to eat it. So, yeah, it's kind of ridiculous. So, Jeff, what do you want to bring to the table in your first point?
I want to go off of what Pake mentioned briefly, which is the pacing and the cuts. And basically, this is called New World Pictures has no idea what they're doing. So, yeah, the movie was supposed to be, or the original cut was about 30 minutes longer, and they wanted to streamline it, which I understand. There were things in there that, could be cut. The director talked about a romantic scene between Mo and Nicole that got cut from the apartment, which was that's fine.
We wanted to be completely taken by surprise, the fact that they were involved with each other.
But, some kind of, by the way, we're dating now, as opposed to just,
oh,
all of a sudden he's kissing her. And
Isn't this literally the second time they've ever seen each other? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was a lot of, wait, Did I miss something?
No, you didn't. It just wasn't there.
I mean, even the way the movie started was just like in the middle of the guy finding the stuff. It was like there wasn't any kind of build-up. It was just like start, and then the next scene is it's everywhere. And it was like, wait, what happened to the whole, like, finding it and, starting to sell it? And, oh, no, it's already just worldwide at this point.
Because eating a white oozing substance from a hole in the ground is always a good idea.
I mean, it's always worked out well for me.
Sure, okay. That was my first thought when I started watching this
if you
movie
see a strange
today.
bubbling substance coming out of the ground, your first instinct should definitely be to ingest it. I think that's perfectly rational and insane. Follow that urge.
Well, wasn't that guy that found it walking around like the cocaine fields? Because it looked like he was just at a storage, house for cocaine.
It really did.
It did have a drug vibe.
That quarry was like the most, like,
I know,
white powdery quarry I have ever seen. It really looked like they were mining cocaine.
I was like, oh no, we're watching The Thing. They're out in the Arctic somewhere.
Yes. I was like, why is he just finding it now? It's everywhere. Look around, dude. The entire place is stuff.
Wasn't it supposed to be taking place in Georgia?
Mm-hmm. Snowy Georgia. Yeah.
Did they get that much snow? I mean, we get it in New England, but my goodness, I never heard of an Atlanta snowstorm. Although, given the storm that Pake got a couple of years ago in Texas, I guess it's not out of the realm of possibility.
It happens. It's just...
It does happen. It just, it isn't the kind of thing that just, like, is an everyday occurrence or an every winter occurrence.
Right. But this winter it happened.
Apparently. So, besides the whole cutting everything down to the point that it didn't make sense anymore, New World also had no idea how to market this thing. Because they tried to market it as straight horror, and it clearly isn't.
It's more satire.
It's extremely satire, and they had no idea what to do with it, and they marketed it as straight horror, and everybody who came to saw it had no idea what the hell they were getting into.
No.
And then they're like, well, see, the movie didn't do very good. Well, of course it didn't do very good. You cut out half of the movie, and you didn't know how to market it.
Yeah.
So, I found out that a couple years back, supposedly a full director's cut or an uncut version of the movie was found.
Oh.
And there's a whole mess of articles from November of 2021 about it. And then nothing. So I don't know if anything ever happened with it. Like, there's literally no news on it since a bunch of articles saying that this cut was found.
We unearthed it. It was found bubbling into the snowy Georgia ground, and we decided to get rid of it.
We have top men on this director's cut. So, basically my first point was just like, what are you guys doing here? This could have been a really great movie. It was still a very fun movie. It was still a very fun movie. I had a lot of fun with it. But it could have been like a really very good movie.
It's one of those movies that's it's so bad that it's good again. And then the characters are all just so useless and terribly written, and they're just the worst characters to the point that you start to like them again because of how bad they are.
So one of the cool things about this is, and it's kind of skipping ahead, we get Michael Moriarty and Paul Sorvino working together on this. Almost, I think, 12 or 13 years before they were on Law and Order together for, a couple of years. And I thought that was cool because I watched Law and Order when they were on, and, of course, Law and Order's gone on for ever and ever and ever. But, it's cool to see them interacting, though, in this movie, because these characters are certainly not like the characters that they played on Law and Order. It's very different.
Yeah, isn't Law and Order in its 84th season now?
No,
just SVU.
SVU.
Oh, that's
It's like
SVU.
27.
Yeah. Law and Order had
26,
23
27?
seasons.
Yeah,
the original
it just
one.
came back again.
Yeah.
Yeah. But we're not going to go off on that tangent.
So it was 6 years before Sorvino would join Law and Order in 91.
Yeah.
So
it wasn't a decade,
yeah, but still several years earlier. Yeah.
Yeah. It's kind of cool because, like I said, the characters in this movie were nowhere close to who they were. They played in Law and Order, especially Paul Sorvino. I got a kick out of his character in this movie. It was just kind of a different side to what I've seen of him.
Yeah, I've never known him to play, just blatantly racist colonels.
No.
Hey, he allowed Charlie to speak.
Yeah. So all is well now. All is
yes.
good.
Okay. Yeah.
Well, he allowed him to, but that doesn't mean Charlie actually did speak. That didn't get to happen, unfortunately.
Well, he did speak, yeah. But he did speak. He said,
A lot of emotion behind those.
That was, yeah.
All right,
sure.
who's next? I want to go next. If I'm being honest, I do.
You want to go next? You never
do, but
picked
I
to go
want
before
to.
me, so I'm happy that
so
you
Jeff
are.
and Jerry's points were pretty quick, so I'll make up for it by talking forever, as I like to do. So my first one kind of is like character kind of thing, but as I talked about, where the characters are just all so terrible that like you kind of start liking them in a full circle kind of thing, all of them, but especially let's talk about our main character of the movie, David Mo Rutherford, who I don't know why he's credited as David because he uses that name like twice. He's Mo,
But no, here's the interesting thing: everybody calls him David in the movie. He introduces himself as Mo.
So my name's Mo Rutherford. Nice to meet you, David.
Mo. Nice to meet you, David. Great. David, it's great to see you, David. Every single time they address him, one of the other characters address him, they call him David.
But why does he go by Mo? Like, he explains it every time.
Because he has that same bowl haircut. He has that same bowl haircut as Mo Howard from the Three Stooges.
Obviously.
Right? That's what it was.
No,
I don't
honestly,
know about
because of that,
but okay.
me and the character of Mo got off on a bad foot immediately. Because, I mean, well, once
because he had a haircut
because of
like
the actual,
Mo Howard?
like, his joke. So, me wanting to be real great and funny with this here, I'm sitting here like, there's like, they're talking before he shows up, and they're like, there's no way to know what any of the ingredients are, and blah, blah, blah. It's like, we have zero information on this. I was like, well, why did the FDA pass on it? That makes no sense. And then here comes Mo Rutherford rolling up, and then he's like, well, the FDA, blah, 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 and he explains it. And I was like, okay, well, I thought I had kind of a fun little thing, but then you stepped on. That's okay. It was just a thought. And then, they're talking about, it was like, we need somebody. We had to bring this guy in because he's going to get the answers. We need Mo Rutherford. And I said out loud to myself, yes, because we all know Mo Rutherford, Mo money. And then Mo shows up on the boat and immediately goes, every time they give me money, I always want Mo. And I'm like, how dare you, Rutherford? You're just stepping on my comedy, and now I hate this guy like everybody else does.
How dare you step on my line 40
I know
years
that
ago.
I made before watching him say it, so it's still mine. And so I was upset about that. But then I was like, at least he's not going to make any New Kids jokes because that hasn't happened yet. So I have chronology on my side, bitch. You can't take that from me. But then as I keep watching him, I'm like, so Mo, this guy's the main character, right? Is he supposed to be? Because he's unbearable in every scene he's in. I was like, so we're supposed to root for this guy? We're supposed to like him? I'm like...
Michael Moriarty is an accomplished actor. He really
I don't take anything away from the actor. It's just the character is just skeezy. And that's like how he's set up, is he's just like a douchebag. Do I almost want to be like with the bad people? They want him stuffed. They're catching on to what he's doing. Let's see. I talked about the pacing a little bit. But yeah, I was just like, yep, our hero of the film, ladies and gentlemen, Mo Rutherford, stealing jokes, punching guys, objectifying women, abducting children, just the man we all want to be, right? What a man. He
basically told Jason, get in the car, I don't have candy.
Exactly.
He rescued him, okay? His parents and his brother, who didn't even warrant enough attention to get names. They're Jason's mother, Jason's father, Jason's brother. Side note, Scott Bloom, who played Jason, his brother Brian, who was a soap opera star at the time.
I didn't look that up, but I kind of figured they were actually related because they do look exactly alike as younger and older siblings. Yeah, absolutely.
The eyes give it away, really.
Which I'll talk more about Jason.
Jason's dad was just an incredible piece of shit. It's just,
what are you doing waking me up in the morning?
What the fuck are you doing down?
I'm a preteen child and I have hunger. Fuck you. Go to bed. I hate.
Don't you ever walk around the
I
house
hate
again.
you, son.
I thought you were a burglar. And the next day, you can't miss school again. You've already missed 3 times. You're not staying home again. And I'm like, man, this guy needs some sort of anti-anxiety
eat some
medication
stuff,
or
dude.
Anti-anger pill.
He definitely got calmed by the end of the
movie.
He did, because the alien parasite was in his head and dictating his moves.
So Mo, I was already kind of on a bad foot with, and then I was just like, "What? He's stealing my jokes." But then he started making some jokes on his own. After he's kidnapped the poor child. He has to he's like, I just threw up, and he's like, well, I just ate all this shaving cream, and the way he deadpan, he goes, well, everyone has to eat shaving cream once in a while. Then I was just, I know,
the best
I said, damn it, Rutherford, that's a me joke. Don't make me like you. You get a point for that one. You're still on the fringes, but that is right up my comedic alley, and I have to give you that point. And then they show up. So I see Daphne rolling her eyes when I mention kidnap. I'm like, okay, sure, you rescue him from his parents or whatever. Then take him to the police. But no, instead, Nicole had the right face. Her face was spot on. It was like, David, you can't pick a boy up in your car and then take him on a plane. And then he just looks at her like, it is what it is. And she's like, oh, okay. And it's like, oh, my boyfriend, the human trafficker. Just what we do. And then when they land, he's like, all right, now, pilot man, the kid's your problem now. I abducted him on a whim, but I'm already bored with it, and I'm ready to completely forget that he exists. So, anyways, it's time for me to go be bad at being undercover elsewhere. Toodles, he's your problem now.
And I'm just going to trust that in 3 hours he's gone to Savannah. And I'm not even going to go back to the airport or anything to check.
I picked up this kid, put him in my car, put him on a plane, flew him across the country, and I'm just going to assume it's all good now. Bye!
Well, I think Jason's used to having to take care of himself. His parents don't give a shit. This guy doesn't. He doesn't even really know him. So, okay, no big deal.
I'm concerned, though, if Jason is supposed to be able to take care of himself, because climbing into an empty tanker truck, or an empty tank.
Yeah, it's a tanker. Yeah.
Yeah, but climbing into the tank part of it, and then being, surprised when they close it.
What? I didn't see this coming. What a twist.
What were you planning to do in there?
He's not very...
Well, he's
a
hiding.
kid.
He's hiding.
Let him be a kid,
No,
okay?
I will not.
When kids want to climb into deadly places, you just let them, because kids will be kids. But yeah, and then I had, after the attack in the motel room, they steal the guy's car, and I made up a little song for Mo to sing along that way, where he said, rolling away in a blue Chevrolet, heading on back to the factory. Meanwhile, that kid I forgot existed is trapped in a tank, and I already don't care again.
Oh my god.
So then they get... they get to the quarry.
Oh my god.
And he was like, I'm going to steal one of those trucks. And I was like... paused it immediate, and I was like, I'm calling my shot now. Jason's in the one that he takes. I was like, because we've got to get this kid back in the movie somehow, because, legitimately, the only role that this kid is playing is being there. Yeah, that's... Mo, the saboteur, the guy that investigates. Nicole, the PR person and advertising rep. Jason, he's there too.
Hey, he was a fugitive. Yeah. He was a fugitive from justice.
Yeah.
After his supermarket rampage.
That's true. Peg, why don't you redo the video for this movie and all the promotional materials? Because I feel like you've got a good handle on it.
They're at the quarry watching it, and he's like, this stuff comes right out of the earth. It's like, what? They look so, like, shocked by that part of it. It's like, no preservatives, no additives. It's completely organic. No!
Oh, my God.
And then, yeah, of course, Jason got to be in the truck that he, like, gets to, which... Before he goes to the truck, I was like, is he going to blow himself up? And I was like, oh no, that makes more sense. He's putting the C4 in the quarry. But I was like, what's with the straps? Why is he like tying them around his legs first? Like, pockets exist. And then again, Mo got me with a great joke whenever the police officer pulls them over and he was just like, your hose is hanging out back there. And he goes, well, are you going to arrest me for indecent exposure? And I said, God damn it, Rutherford, that one was so good. So
this is why Pake hates Mo Rutherford, because he took every possible joke.
Well, then I became respecting, I started respecting him because of those jokes, and I didn't want to.
Begrudging respect.
I know, I didn't want to, but he was making me like him because his hands were good. And then also just taking people out left and right. Like, he keeps knocking people out by laying hands on them real quick. And I was like, who do you think you are? Some kind of charismatic preacher in one of those weird culty churches? Just, ha, 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 and they're all going down. But
the power of Christ compels you.
So yeah, most of these characters, I really liked them because they were just so ridiculous and I hated them and they were so pointless in so many ways that finally I was like, they're endearing again. And Mo was really funny. The dialogue written for him was incredible. I will give it that. And then at the end, you just see a big twist with him. I'm like, okay, now you're forcing these CEOs to eat a bunch of the stuff in front of you. And I'm like, I'm not exactly what the purpose of that was, but you and Jason really seem to do it. You, like, enjoy doing it. You just, 2 peas in a psychotic pod. Just, yes, eat more.
Well, because it's going to take them over and then explode them, basically. So
die or die.
And they caused a lot of trouble.
So the stuff is like the fungus that infects the ants, that just makes them blow up with
cordyceps. Yeah.
But yeah. Yep. So that's... I have no Mo.
Okay, well then that leads to my turn, and I am going to talk about Larry Cohen's story and inspiration for this movie, which was consumerism and corporate greed. Oh, wait. Yeah, it's pretty obvious when you're watching this movie that that's what the inspiration behind it is. He's talking about, he wanted to focus on showing that consumerism and corporate greed in the US or whatever country is, creating products that are damaged and being recalled. And we eat things that even though we know that they're bad for us, we eat them anyway. And so he came up with this idea to create the stuff, which is an imaginary product that's like ice cream. And it's doing harm to humanity. What struck me, though, is at one point at the end, the news broadcaster is saying it killed thousands, but I thought this was a nationwide thing, so wouldn't it have killed more people?
Maybe not everybody had as much of the stuff, enough to get them that far. I don't know. It seemed like it was still kind of new.
Yeah, it probably took... I assumed it took a lot, yeah.
Well, whatever it is, I hope Fletcher and the other guy ate enough to take themselves out because they were pretty awful. So, anyway, it's basically everyone's eating all this stuff, even though they don't know if it's good or bad for them. They're just taking someone else's word for it.
It's low calorie, Daphne.
No artificial
and it
ingredients.
Doesn't stain.
Doesn't spot.
And it doesn't spot.
And it doesn't stain, exactly.
I mean, she lost 5 pounds just eating that for dinner.
Mm-hmm. Sure. So that's my point. I just wanted to give a little insight to what the, inspiration was for the movie, and I feel like it delivered on its message.
It wasn't an allegory for puberty?
No. Why do you think it's an allegory for puberty, Pake?
No reason.
Everything's an allegory for puberty.
Right.
I forgot. Tonight, Daphne gets to podcast with 3 12-year-old boys.
Mm-hmm. Which says a lot about you, actually.
Oh, God.
Who are these 12-year-old boys you're going to be podcasting with?
Well, their names are Pake, Jerry, and Jeff.
That's such a coincidence.
Yeah, what a coincidence. I like that.
Okay, so Jerry, what's next on your list?
The amazing special effects.
Oh, goodness.
Whether we have marshmallow cream chasing people around, around a room full of bats, and they're just hopping from bat to bat to bat when they can just push the fucking things aside and run through the damn door.
Next. No, we missed the vat. Go back.
But I did like it. It was kind of reminiscent of the Blob.
Yes.
The way it moved around. So that's what I liked. And then how they had the Hummel figurine puppets that Mo could just punch and they would break apart. You just he had enough kinetic force in his fist to break heads.
So this is a martial arts movie, and I didn't know.
Well, don't forget that Charlie's hands are registered lethal weapons.
I loved Charlie's over-exaggerated
but not
karate
most.
strikes. They were incredible.
They were a high point for sure.
Yeah, and I had forgotten Garrett. I hadn't seen this for a long time, but I had forgotten Garrett Morris was in this.
Yeah.
And I was like, when I saw him, I was like, yes!
He's the best chocolate chip Charlie. Larry Cohen actually wanted to cast Arsenio Hall in the role because he was kind of up and coming. But, the executives at New World Pictures said, no.
And they made so many great choices, too. No, they wanted somebody who had name recognition.
Yeah. He'd been on SNL for like 4 or 5 years, and he had name recognition, so they wanted someone like that to draw attention to the movie. I don't think it helped.
And I did like, what's his name? The one played by Danny Aiello. He was like the FDA guy.
Oh, Vickers.
And his and Vickers, and his dog was like a rabbit and maybe part rattlesnake because they had the jaw unhinged. So.
It was kind of ridiculous because he was afraid of his dog, and it's because his dog was like coming down from a high from the stuff. And
I feed the stuff
hit.
to my dog all the time. It's fine. Look how normally huge and growly he is. It's all good.
The dog was big because it's a Great Dane. So Great Danes are really big dogs. But as far as being afraid, I mean, at least Mo noticed that, he talked to the dog. He's like, why is he so afraid of you? When Ben the dog attacked Vickers under the table, I thought,
I'll buy more.
Help! Police! Help! My dog's barking and gently sniffing me to death. And then, for a few frames, he was replaced by a weird prop, and then he resumed sniffing me again.
Yep.
That dog was the absolute nicest dog. It was like, every time that they had him growling, like, you could see the dog's muzzle was just, like, completely closed. He's, like, licking Moriarty, and his tail is wagging, and you just hear this...
Yeah, it sounded more like my cat Chloe when they're getting canned food at night. She'll growl to keep the other cats away because she wants it all for herself. And so that's, maybe that's what it was. He was growling only because he wants the stuff all to himself. But I thought it was kind of strange. I thought it was kind of funny. And the dog, pulled the phone the dog pulled the phone cord from the wall.
Yes.
I'm like, this is a very smart dog.
Well, but he was the stuff had taken him over, so
he was smart.
The stuff was doing
knew how to.
The stuff was smart.
It was interesting that they didn't have a hive mind. I don't think that everyone who had ingested it had a shared consciousness. I just thought of that right now.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
So the stuff makes you the board?
Yeah, it doesn't, because I don't think they had a shared
There was a little bit of shared consciousness, I thought, and especially the fact that at the very end in the factory, when all the factory workers kill themselves and the stuff drains out of their body, and that's what's chasing Jason and Nicole.
Yeah.
So in that sense, it was kind of a hive mind.
It was when it was convenient.
That's true.
Yeah.
Only when convenient.
The whole part about it being a hive mind that was cut. That was just one of many things many explanations that were cut.
Mo probably found that out from his doctor friend after all of the analysis was done while they were trying to figure out what was in it. He probably figured out, they probably all work together, and if you've ingested enough, you're part of the hive. Well, we'll never know, will we?
Probably not.
Yeah, and I have to hand it to like the demolitions expert for destroying those models so effectively. It's like I saw that, I was like, oh my god, this does have 1.7 million written all over it, even for 1985.
Well, I think that it's important to mention this particular thing, that the company that was hired to produce some of the, I don't know how much of it, but some of the special effects shots, their budget was $16,000, and they were only paid $8,000 of it.
Yep, and then there was a court issue,
where the court said, you know what, you guys can hold on, you can keep the rights to those special effects that you created. They were like, well, what the hell are we going to do with this shit? This was...
you won, but yay, I won.
Yeah, exactly.
I will say that the stuff blasting out of like the wall and going all into the soldiers that were standing outside, that shot I actually really liked. I was like, okay, that's a fun one.
Yeah.
There was one other shot that I really enjoyed, and that was in the motel. Actually, because what happened is when I was watching it, I was like, oh, God, that reminds me so much of Nightmare on Elm Street. And what I found out is it's the same room.
Mm-hmm. That's exactly what I was thinking.
Oh, nice.
They
really?
used the same room that was used, that could turn upside down.
I mean, the guy starts going up the wall before the stuff gets him. So it was like, it's one of those rotating rooms with the forced perspective, which exactly. I love that style.
So Tina's death in Nightmare on Elm Street.
Which
okay.
I just have to say, going on a slight tangent, Tina's boyfriend, worst rescue guy ever. Just like scream at the girl for 15 minutes.
We haven't covered that one yet, but we will. I feel like we have to, right?
And you have to do Dream Warriors.
There's a very long list. Oh my goodness.
Welcome to prime
Is that
time.
That's the third one.
That's the third one.
When they're in the mental hospital. Welcome to
prime time, bitch.
Welcome to prime.
Oh, wow. That was quick. So much nostalgia.
Okay, yeah, but that does it for my point on the special effects. The wonderful, all-encompassing, beat CGI, nothing that good until Endgame. Special effects.
Oh, gosh.
All right, Jeff. Yeah. You get to follow that up.
Yeah. I want to talk a little bit about both Chocolate Chip Charlie and Garrett Morris.
Okay.
Yeah, I was gonna.
He's wonderful.
Bring up the whole Arsenio of it all. But yeah, which would have been interesting. I liked what Garrett brought to this role, although I am interested to see what Arsenio would have done with it. Yeah. So my first thought when I see Garrett Morris is because the main thing that I think of for Garrett Morris is the head of the school for the deaf and hard of hearing. When he would do the weekend update and at Saturday Night Live and just shout out the headlines, they would have him in the bottom corner, subtitled for deaf and hard of hearing, and he would just shout the headlines. It's the best thing ever. But yeah, Chocolate Chip Charlie, who is very much a tribute to Famous Amos. And so I knew a little bit about Famous Amos's life and his career, his professional life, and all that kind of thing, and the fact that Amos was actually pushed out of his own company. And so at the time the movie came out, Wally Amos had already sold 51% of his company, and was basically being used as a spokesperson. And a few years after the movie came out, he finally had enough and left. However, when he went on to do other things, he was going to actually get back involved with... It wasn't cookies at first. It was some kind of other snack food. He was not allowed to use the name Amos because Famous Amos was trademarked. So his company was Uncle No Name.
Oh, wow.
Yep. What the other thing that I found interesting, from a guy, like Chocolate Chip Charlie, whose hands were registered lethal weapons, is that Garrett Morris was actually mugged in 93, 94 at gunpoint and fought the guy off.
The stuff taught him a
Really?
lot.
Yeah. He was shot, I believe. He ended up, having to go for surgery and this kind of thing, but he actually fought the guy off. So that was method acting. He thought his hands were actually lethal weapons, and he attacked the guy.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Well, he's still alive.
Yes, he is. Yeah. Yeah. Unlike Abe Vigoda.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Clara Peller.
Clara Peller, who passed away the year after the movie came out. Yeah.
I remember Where's the Beef being such a big promotional marketing idea.
Yeah.
She became so famous for it, and then Wendy's fired her when, without their consent, she went and did a commercial for Ragu, I believe, and did there it is, I found it. I finally found it.
Oh my god, are you serious? Oh my gosh. Wow.
No, I loved Clara Peller in this movie. She was just, in there for 5 seconds, and it was just like she stole the whole movie.
Where's the stuff? Yep. And you knew she was going to say it. You knew it.
Oh, yeah. As soon as you see her, it was like, oh, here we go. So, that was really my point, is just kind of a little bit about Garrett Morris and Chocolate Chip Charlie and Famous Amos.
Well, I feel like I need to, before we close off on this point, mention that Garrett Morris did not have an enjoyable experience working with Larry Cohen. He
Do you have the quote from him?
I was taught growing up that if you don't have something nice to say about someone, don't say anything at all.
And that was the last he said about Larry Cohen.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, Pake, what's next?
What's next? Let's...
What, like next week? Are we already done?
No. Next point.
No.
Oh. Next point.
Next point.
I think I'm just gonna...
What are you eating? That is...
Wow.
I think I'm just gonna talk about the stuff.
What is that you just ate?
I don't know what you're talking about. I've no
Probably
idea what you're
marshmallow
talking
cream.
about.
It's shaving cream,
Yeah.
clearly.
I'm not...
Just Barbasol.
It's just Barbasol. I'm not an insane
Barbasol.
person.
He doesn't shave. How on earth would he need... Why would he need shaving cream?
But yeah, let's see. What else? I've talked about a little bit. The stuff is kind of I thought it's just some of the stuff that we... The stuff with the stuff. Now, the dog... Talked about a lot of it, just like scribbling in. So really just to follow up on some stuff. You're talking about Mo just punching through people's heads. I was like, man, the stuff has made these guys' heads softer than the zombies on Walking Dead. Just bam.
The zombies whose heads are made out of meringue. Yes.
Well, and some of it was red dust.
Yeah, that was weird. That was kind of weird.
What was the red dust?
I had a couple of moments where...
It dehydrates your blood.
Okay.
I channeled some Kung Pao, and there's just a few moments where it was like pouring into places. I would just go, "That's a lot of stuff," but there's that. Let's see. The terrible pillow stuffing. But yeah. Yeah, the forced perspective of the room that rotates, the rotating set, is great. Jeff mentions that. Of course, I guess they wouldn't let the actual lead actors into that room, that little like rotating setup, because the Mo and Nicole that are standing there are clear stunt doubles or stand-ins. Like, you're like, that's not the same actors at all.
It's too dangerous for you to go in there. We're only going to send in your stunt doubles.
Yeah. Yeah, back at the quarry again. You know, they you know, it's supposed to be what? You know, no additives, no extra ingredients. They were so flabbergasted by how organic it was. So when he blows the quarry, I was like, oh no, it's contaminated with minerals. Oh, we'll never recover. The guy that jumps out of the car and attacks Nicole, and then the truck runs in. I was like, man, do you ever have that problem? Do you hate when your leg gets hurt so bad that your head explodes? It's a real problem many Americans face. It just makes... the stuff does weird things to the anatomy. There's a few green screen effects that are real wonky.
Oh, gosh.
Real wonky.
Oh,
Yes.
man.
Oh, my gosh, the Nicole and Jason one. Just like walking in front of a screen here. It looked like they had a Zoom background going on.
Or like Jason in the like tanker whenever the stuff is pouring in, and then you see him like crouching around on this like clear green outline fuzzy around him. Oh no!
But he did try to reason with it, which I thought was hilarious.
When all else fails.
Try to reason with a parasite. Yeah.
Yeah. And then the last just little thing about it is it's such a random little sting at the end of the movie, but it's like, yeah, obviously then like whatever's left over of this stuff is going to become like a highly trafficked street drug. Like, of course it is. Hey, you got the stuff.
That stuff is
He's
pure.
got the stuff.
Oh my god.
Who's got the stuff, man? So yeah, that's pretty much all I had.
What are you eating?
The stuff?
You're not. What is it? No, it isn't.
You're right. I would never do that. Like you said, it's Barbasol.
It is not. You would not be continually eating shaving cream.
I mean, obviously, shaving cream is fine to eat because
Clearly, Jason
I know
had it,
because he's a kid who's so extremely overdramatic by default that if he can keep a straight face while eating spoons of it, obviously it's fine. All right, Daphne, your turn.
Okay, so I want to talk a little bit about the stuff and the effects and just kind of what they used to make the stuff. And it wasn't shaving cream, really. So, some of the props or the stand-ins included lots of Haagen-Dazs ice cream, which I'm down, yogurt, and then there was one scene that had the avalanche of the stuff crashing through the wall. They used fire extinguisher foam for that one.
Makes sense, yeah.
Yeah. As we've already talked about, some of the other shots were basically, you know, superimposed stuff that didn't get paid for, evidently. However, in some of the scenes, and this is kind of interesting. In some of the scenes where the stuff is chasing people, they used a foam that was made of like blended fish bones that ended up stinking so bad that as soon as they filmed the shots, the actors ran to the river in order to bathe and get rid of the smell.
Delicious.
I thought that was interesting.
So they used fishbone slurry.
Yeah, I guess.
I mean, it's not bad.
I mean, it's a choice.
Mm-hmm.
Again, many things they could have used. They decided to put fish in a blender.
I don't understand the brain
I mean, you know
Larry
that was a job that somebody had.
What'd you do at work today?
Just putting,
you don't want to know.
I blended fish.
I pureed fish bones in a blender.
And then watch the kid try to bargain with it.
Imagine that. It's crazy. So yeah, I just wanted to talk a little bit about the stuff, like how they made it, what they did.
It would really suck if you got those two confused, the Haagen-Dazs stuff and the fishbone stuff. Wait, is this the one that we eat or not?
Oh God.
Yeah.
Oh God, no.
Yeah, no. I've got the fish bones. I got the wrong
It's
one.
not the right stuff.
Yeah, no.
At all.
No. 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 It's definitely not. Yeah. Jerry, what you got?
Okay, last one is just a couple quick little quotes. Mo, when he was sending Charlie off to go find the FBI agent, says, "Go see Agent Frank Herbert." So apparently Cohen was a Dune fan. So, and I don't know if he was a Dune fan. I didn't look that up or not, but I did like the reference. Okay, so
yeah,
and then the quote, like one of the final quotes is, "Are you eating it, or is it eating you?"
Yeah, that was clever and fun.
We may never know.
I thought.
Fake, stop eating.
Enough is not.
Taking over.
Enough is never enough, Jerry.
Okay. Yeah, well, if I make him stop, he's gonna get gruff and eat more stuff. It'll never be enough because he's tough. Yeah.
All right, I'll stop.
We're making Daphne roll her eyes again.
Well, I just want to know what it is. I want to know what it is. What are you eating?
Black market stuff.
No, you're just being ridiculous.
It looks like
technically it's the taste. It's only 12% stuff.
You can't get the
Oh yeah, it's the taste
anymore.
Which is just the worst product name ever.
It's terrible.
Like, how do you even market the stuff? Is a bad enough name. It's like it's
you
so
gave
bad
it
it actually
the name you gave it is what your creative team lacks.
Interested.
Got it.
Yep. Somehow I don't think Nicole came up with that advertising campaign, or would come up with an advertising campaign for that.
Although I did come up with a possible ambiguous double feature. You could have, hey, it's like there's a new double feature at the theater. It's like there's a movie from about 3 years. This is in '85, of course. It's like there's a movie from 3 years ago that plays with the stuff. It says it's stuff and the thing are playing together. So I don't know if it's kind of ambiguous. It's just the stuff and the thing. Stuff and things, exactly. It's the Daphne.
No.
You okay?
No.
If they did show the stuff with the right stuff, you could call the feature double stuff.
I've got the perfect sponsor for it, lined up, ready to go.
What, Oreo?
They've already made the perfect cookie.
They don't need to go. Don't need to make any more. Go home. Whose turn is it? We've lost all control.
It's Jeff's turn.
It's Jeff's turn.
I want it to be known that I have tried to keep this on track, and it is impossible.
And we have tried to derail it.
And you've done such
It's
a great
a battle
job.
of wills.
Will isn't even here.
Well, Daphne is good. Yeah. But Daphne is good at hurting cats.
Oh, man.
So.
It's your turn, Jeff.
It is my turn. So I'm going to take this time to make a political statement.
All right.
No, I'm kidding.
No time is better. Let's go.
Oh, gosh. No, I just a little bit of appreciation for Paul Sorvino, who was just so ridiculously over the top. And the line that he has when they're storming the gates, where he says, I kind of like the sight of blood, but this is disgusting. It's just like somebody wrote that and went, yeah, that's good. Yeah. This is a good line. I'm going to go home now because I have successfully written a line for a movie. Or his line about America has never lost a war. What about Nam?
We lost that one at home, buddy.
What about get that shit off my station? When the ad was playing for the stuff on his station.
Turns it on and the commercial for the stuff is playing right then. Like, of course it is. He reminded me a little bit of just one of the lines that he had. Or I think actually it was Rutherford talking about the fluoride in the water conspiracy, which I know was an actual whatever you want to call it, conspiracy theory about, commies putting fluoride in the water. But it just made me think back to Dr. Strangelove, which is just one of the greatest movies of all time. One of the
greatest, yes, agreed.
And I can't remember the name of the guy who was worried about the fluoride in the water, but he's talking about, that he will not allow commies to sap his precious bodily fluids.
Wasn't that Jack Ripper?
Yes, Jack D. Ripper.
Mm-hmm. Jack D. Ripper, yes. Okay.
Yeah.
Daphne enjoys that line.
Because I question the reality of anything that you say.
It was Jack D.
Right.
Ripper. That was his name. Yeah. It was playing opposite one of Peter Sellers' many characters.
Oh,
yeah,
one of three. Although
originally Sellers was supposed to play Slim Pickens' character as well.
Oh no, I'm glad that Slim Pickens was
but
in
they
it.
decided not to do that. I mean, I can go off on Dr. Strangelove instead about how Slim Pickens showed up to set and Kubrick thought he was in character. And it was like, no, Slim Pickens is actually he's actually like a cowboy. He actually came in there in like a Stetson and spurs and all this kind of thing.
It was
not a character.
It's too bad.
Slim Pickens.
It's too bad that movie doesn't fit Run for Your Lives because it would be a ton of fun to talk about. And Pake has probably never seen it, and so he needs to see it.
Such a gap in your education.
It is.
And just as a quick aside, I think that was the first movie with James Earl Jones in it. That was
we are no longer talking about the stuff. We're now talking about Dr. Strangelove.
I just want to really take a deep dive into Kubrick's oeuvre.
Let's get back to the stuff, guys.
Let's get the cats herded again.
I am done with my very minor third point.
Hey, can you stop eating long enough to join us?
You cannot stop eating the stuff, Daphne.
In fact, you need to eat along with me. It's one simple thing I'm asking you to do. After all these years of this podcast, it's just one thing.
What? You want me to eat the stuff?
Absolutely, you need to.
I don't have any stuff.
Eat it.
Nope.
One of us.
The only thing I have that could even closely resemble it is a pint of strawberry Halo Top. And I don't think it matches up because it's pink.
I don't think so. Yeah.
I guess I'll just have to eat double.
I think he's eating sour cream.
You'll never know.
No, I want to know.
I love the fact that you won't tell her. Don't tell her. Even after we're done recording, I don't want you to tell her.
This is how it is on a regular basis.
It's just the stuff. You don't keep bothering Jeff about what's in the spoon next to his head, but
I don't have to because it's a photo. You're not eating a picture. You're eating a spoonful of a white substance.
Or maybe I am eating a picture and I'm really convincing.
Oh my god.
Ceci n'est pas une stuff.
You never know. Now, before my next, I guess, which I'll just go into, but I was going to add, because you're with Spears, my favorite Colonel Spears line, because it was so out of left field and I didn't expect it at all that I laughed so hard, was having all the soldiers come up around him and he quiets them and then goes, pay the drivers, issue a 10% tip, get a cash receipt. I was like, wait, he's being decent now. Like, what happened to this?
He has to itemize.
Yeah, the receipt is still some, like, thrown in there. But the fact that he's like, make sure you pay. It's like, tip your drivers.
I thought it was funny when he got to the cab and he's like, just get us to 4th and Main right away. No more of your liberal remarks.
Yeah.
Just because the cab driver just asks if it's World War III. Like, he sees them
World
all
War III. Enough of your liberal remarks. I loved it. I laughed so hard. And then he's just, him and the soldiers. It's all so ridiculous and over the top that it was hilarious to me. And then he just wants to be liked. And he's wanting Nicole to do his PR. And I thought about it and I was like, I mean, I don't know, racist, sexist, xenophobic, science-denying, egomaniac, being turned into someone a bunch of people view as a valid leader. It's been done before. I wouldn't say it's not possible. I don't know. We'll see.
I just love the fact that just like in real life, a group of, neoconservative militiamen save the world. Yeah.
We got to have some realism in this movie, Jeff.
Yeah, absolutely.
Got to pinpoint the real heroes at some points. Let's see. So my last point, I've told you I'm going to talk about the star of the movie, the one who has the biggest arc, Jason, our beloved Jason. This kid who develops a just really intense and violent vendetta against the stuff so fast. It's gonna kill you! It moves in the fridge! Fluoride in the water! The frogs are gay! He is just off his rocker immediately. I mean, he's not wrong. It's bad stuff, or there wouldn't be a movie, but I'm like watching him immediately, from at home to immediately at the grocery store. I'm like, kid, you're gonna have to chill out a little, bro. Or like, insane conspiracy child is not a good look, little homie. It's not. Like, there's better ways to go about this. And it's like, man, he hates it. And then whenever it's so weird, like, what? And he gets shoehorned into the movie. The whole purpose of Jason is he's also there, like I said, because it's like, we have this kid. He's okay, I guess, and we want this to be part.
We've still got him for another 3 weeks. What do we do?
I know,
with
it's
him?
like, we got to give him something to do. And so then they have Mo reading a newspaper, and he's like, oh, there's this kid who like really hates the stuff. And he's like, does he hate it like obsessively? And it's like, yeah, read what he did. Well, I must know him. We must be best friends right now. Like, we gotta get on that. I'm so lonely. And then we get Jason. He's got the echoiest house in the whole world. Just very echoey. And then the whole scene with his parents and his brother, very creepy. Eat the stuff, Jason. Just eat as much as you can.
One of us.
It's very creepy. And then I mentioned, yeah, he's so extremely overdramatic. And he somehow is able to keep a perfectly straight face eating spoonfuls of barbasol. So it must be delicious. In fact, I know it is. And then, yeah, like, then we don't see him again. At least Mo doesn't see him again until he's at the quarry. And then he hears his voice and he's like, the tank is speaking to me. And he's like, oh, it's Jason. That's right. The boy that I kidnapped and trafficked across the country. I guess I should get him. I mean, if I have to. Fine. Then they get pulled over, and then we get Mo's incredible line. And then Jason follows it up with do I need to put my hands up too? Are you going to shake me down? I'm like, Jason, no, stop.
I mean, to be fair, Jason was a wanted criminal at this point.
Yeah.
But the delivery of that, I'm like, no, Mo's allowed to make the inappropriate jokes, but you do it, it's just a little problematic. It's like, I don't think I should use this descriptor for a child's actions, but what I get from what you're trying to do is kinky, and that's not the right move. I don't know why you're doing that. Let's not. Because I'm uncomfortable now.
Again, acting choices were made during this movie.
Like, I'm uncomfortable now. Thank you, Jason.
I did think it was ridiculous how they got the cop, like they took care of the cop that was...
Hey, cop, look over there!
Look, there's some stuff. Oh, I'm
Power price compels you. Oh. And then when they get to the radio station, pretty much the rest of the movie from there until the end, and then he goes all like psycho, like, yes, eat it. Then Jason is like bloodthirsty, and it's a little unsettling. But before that, the whole time at the radio station, like there's times, like while the colonel is speaking to the guy working at the radio station, and Jason's standing there at the desk, and I'm watching this kid, and I'm like, even he knows his character's just there for no reason. Like, he's like, what do I do with my hands? What do I do with me? I don't know why I'm standing here right now. Why am I still in this movie?
The world may never know.
Well, I guess just, again, to get to the end, I mean, yeah, we saw his family go. So I said he's like very bloodthirsty at the end, and Mo's like, my circumstantially adopted son will take no more of your bullshit.
If I were Jason, I don't know that even if his family survived, that I'd want to go back to them. They were not nice to him.
Honestly, they became nicer when they were zombies.
Yeah.
Like, they did ask him to join them, but, I mean, other than that, like, they were much nicer to him.
Yeah.
You know?
So I don't think, no.
His dad wasn't, like, physically abusing him.
Right. That was...
You know, so that was...
Something's wrong. You're not beating me anymore. So, yeah.
Is that all
That's it.
you have, Pake? Okay.
I have no more stuff to say.
Well, I'm going to try to keep this podcast on track. So, Daphne, it's your turn next.
Somebody's got to do it.
I'm sorry, somebody's got it. Somebody's got to do it, since you're clearly not.
I have been trying this entire time to keep it on track. The three of you have been derailing it into the land of Stanley Kubrick. I mean, next we're going to talk about Clockwork Orange.
My mouth is so dry and I ran out of water.
Maybe you should have some stuff.
Have some more.
Okay.
I don't even understand what he's eating, and it's driving me crazy. So, I'm going to talk about Chocolate Chip Charlie and his demise. Because the last time we saw Charlie, he was supposed to go and talk to the FBI.
Right, talk to the author of Dune.
Yes.
Right.
However, we don't see him again until the very end of the movie. And he arrives and seemingly has a story for why he didn't do what he was supposed to do. But he's ready to go on the air to talk about all the things he's seen. Except that somewhere along the way, Chocolate Chip Charlie got compromised and became Unchocolate Chip Charlie. I don't even know what to call
Vanilla
him.
Chip.
Vanilla Chip
Vanilla
Charlie.
Chunk Charles.
Vanilla Chunk Chuck.
He goes in to the recording room with Nicole and he can't, she thinks that they're going to record, and instead his mouth starts opening and it is very gross. And they actually used 4 models of his head to make the transformation sequence. So it really wasn't like a CGI thing. It was more of a practical thing.
There was actually really great practical effects in that moment.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it was.
A lot of great practical effects and a lot of strange noises coming out of several different people.
True. So I was really bummed because I liked Chocolate Chip Charlie. I thought he was a fun character. He brought some excitement to the movie, and I thought that him and Mo seemed like they could be a dynamic duo until they split up, a minute after I wrote that in my notes.
Wait, you're Chocolate Chip Charlie. You can't call him that. Oh, wait, never mind. No, you're okay.
So yeah, Jerry, do you have any additional notes?
I do not. I was ready for 3, and I
all right.
prepared
What
3.
about you, Jeff?
So Stanley Kubrick in 1969.
Jeff, that came out in 1971.
Did it?
Yes, it did.
Oh, God. Well, the book came out in 69.
Doesn't matter. The movie did not come out until 1971, so let's not.
Wait, what movie are you talking
Clockwork
about?
Orange.
Oh, okay, see, I was going to go with Space Odyssey.
Yeah, no. We're not going to talk about either of them. I'm going to rein it in. And Jeff, do you have any other comments?
I have nothing else to say about
the stuff?
the stuff.
Okay.
Although I will say that Space Odyssey was released in 68.
Well, that's lovely, but we're not talking about it now. Pake, I am terrified to ask, do you have any additional notes?
Yeah, I've got plenty. So in 1971, Stanley Kubrick. No, let's see. I had like a random
Thank
thought.
Thank you all for tuning into Kubrick Cast.
Oh, no. That is not a real thing, and no.
Let's see. In the beginning of the movie, I guess, while we get Jason just walking around in his pajama pants, I'm watching the credits and the names come in, and then I just imagine everybody, all of the actors, everybody on this movie watching these credits, like, oh, let's wait for our names, and then they all get upset. Why does Patrick O'Neill get a really cool box around his name? It's not fair. We all wanted cool boxes around our names, and he's the only one that got
I saw
one.
that.
Do you know why, Pake?
I have no idea why.
Me either, but I thought maybe you were going to enlighten us.
No, I just wondered. I was with them. Why does he get a cool box and nobody else gets a cool box?
No idea.
I don't know. Let's see. Anything else? Nicole, a couple little things. In the motel room, she's acting really calm for most of it up until the end, where she's like, just calm down. I've got this handled. All I got to do is set your face on fire really quick. Stop fussing. Like, and then I noticed a little character quirk of hers that they don't really spend much time on, but it's there, is she's constantly cracking her neck and her knuckles is just kind of like a tick. Yeah. And I was like, girl, same. I do it all the time, constantly. Like, that was...
It was so loud, too.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sitting there going, like, who does that? Oh, me.
I don't think that was a character thing. I think that was, actually just Andrea Markovici just was constantly...
Yeah. But they do call it out because...
Like, okay, we'll just put it in.
Yeah, they call it out. It's in the movie because Mo is, like, putting the yellow suit on or whatever, getting ready to go down there, and she's doing it, and she goes, oops, sorry, because he's like, it's too loud. Let's see, do I have anything else? Colonel Spears. Again, just meeting him is like... I remember all that blackmail stuff I had on you. I still have that. And it's just like, are you still really big into that whole fluoride thing? Because there's this kid that I abducted that you gotta meet. Wait, I didn't say anything like that. I don't know what you're talking about. Anyway, my good friend Jason is super into freaking out about conspiracy stuff. And speaking of conspiracy stuff, get a load of this. See, and nobody really seemed to care about the guy that got shot in the face after pulling the truck up to the gate at all.
Okay, I was curious about that. Did he get shot in the face? It was like,
yeah,
it sure seemed like the dude got shot in the face and just nobody
cared.
No,
like he went into that like, okay, listen, dude, you're gonna go up there. You're probably going to die, and nobody gives a shit. So
got it. That's your role.
We specifically chose you for this.
You have the most shootable face.
We figured, nobody really likes you. You don't have anybody who loves you. So, I mean, it's really no loss to the world if you die.
So go and take one for your fake army brothers. And then the last note I have is the fact that the broadcast worked in the end of the movie is maybe the most hard thing to believe in the entire film.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But America came together and said, yeah, sure, this sounds legitimate. Let's just throw this stuff out that we're all addicted to.
Oh, so this is science fiction. Got it.
Yeah, that would not happen today.
The executives from Philip Morris were just like, oh my God, this can't actually happen, can it?
Oh, no. Yep, that's it. No more stuff about the stuff.
You're rubbing it in, aren't you? Yep, continually. Yep.
He's not rubbing it in. He's putting it in his mouth.
Yeah. Oh, man.
It'd be really messy. It'd be really messy if I was rubbing it on. It's sticky.
Oh, my God.
It's sticky. No, Daphne, you're not going to even go down that road. Stop. Oh, God. So I had just a couple of things. Scott Bloom, who played Jason, went on to be in like 11 other things. He's only had 12 acting credits since this.
Did he belong in any of those other movies? Did he have a role?
I don't think I saw any of the other movies. I loved that they just kept saying everyone is out of the country, or they're on vacation, or they've moved to Georgia.
Or they're dead.
Or they're dead.
I like the fact that those two were equated. It was like, everyone's either out of the country or dead.
Or dead.
Yeah, that happens.
One of those two.
Well, and the storekeeper, when Charlie and Mo went into the store in that town, whatever, the storekeeper was so... You knew something was off with him and you expected something to be off with him, but the way that he played it was just... It just was kind of gross, honestly.
Well, the gas station attendant, who was extremely obsessed with his bathroom.
We have a really clean bathroom.
Why are you using my bathroom?
I need you to shit in my bathroom.
He probably had...
Literally, at one point, he was like, don't you have to wash your hands?
Please.
Please go wash your hands.
Well, because they probably was a trap, and the person would just get attacked.
I think he was just really proud of the new towel that he bought.
Oh God! Did he get it? What, Wayfair or what? IKEA?
Wish.com.
Wish.com. Okay, great.
He's on a budget.
Okay.
Stater's not huge.
Mm-hmm.
How much money do you really think he makes pumping gas in Stater?
Not much. And then I can't remember who made the comment, but it was basically somebody saying, "No, I'm going to leave it to. Oh, I don't have to eat it, right? I want to leave it to the stuffies." And I just thought, yes, now we have a fandom of those who love the stuff. They're called the stuffies.
It's freaking stuffies in their problem. They can't stop.
Oh, you got to release the video version of this podcast.
No, I'm not. I am not. I would not give you the satisfaction of releasing this podcast on video. And Pake is talking and I can't hear him.
I'm just whispering. I'm telling Jeff, don't do it. Don't do it, Jeff.
Why not? You've already done it. You should be encouraging him to eat it. And the last thing I have is Mira Sorvino was also in this movie playing a factory worker.
Thank you. I meant to bring that up. Yeah.
As well as there's an uncredited role for Patrick Dempsey.
Really?
Yeah. So, yeah, there were a few others in it. I mean, the cast was decent for this, and somehow everything got hacked to pieces. I'd really like to watch it in its, the form it was intended, instead of what the executives thought would be better.
Well, it is a little difficult to ask Cohen for a director's cut.
It is, because he is gone to that great big
editing room in the sky.
Yep.
Oh, okay. Patrick Dempsey was one of the guys at the very end, buying the black market stuff.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, and now that you say that about other uncredited or not or very, very minor cameos, there's another Law and Order connection in this
Eric
movie.
Bogosian played one of the supermarket guys that were trying to control Jason when he went kamikaze in the store.
I mean, that kid is really vitriolic about his stuff. It took 3 grown men to take him down.
Yeah.
He was like a Tasmanian devil, just whirling and whirling and whirling.
God.
They had him at one point, and then it cut away to him running down the aisle with a broom handle. I was like, how did he do that?
He managed to slip away into the butter and margarine aisle, and he greased himself up real good. It was hard to get him after that.
He's just covered in Crisco.
Do you think that he thought he was going to be a witch and fly off on that broom? I mean,
I think so. Yeah, why not?
Anything can happen in this movie, especially if it makes no sense to anything else that's going on.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. Well, if we have nothing else to talk about with this movie, I told you, I could wait till feedback, but while we have everybody here for sure, if you enjoyed this, which I'm
Daphne didn't.
I'm sorry, then you're a special kind of insane, and we love you for it. But yeah, no, it's a blast talking with these three and being able to drive Daphne completely up the wall with our jokes with me and Jeff and Jerry, and there's a lot of just ridiculous things that are going on, but I love it and I have a blast with it, which is why we decided to start recording and launched our very own separate podcast with the 4 of us that is out weekly, and you can go check out the first few episodes now. It's called Buffalo. We'll have links and all that stuff to it, and it's literally just the 4 of us doing what we did here without the guys of a movie to talk about. It's even less structured. If we took the rails off, the ones that we jumped over anyway, if there's no rails there to begin with.
This one we went off the rails. In Buffalo, we just don't even pretend to have rails.
There's no track.
There are no parameters.
Yeah.
Where we're going, we don't need rails.
Nope.
Yeah, it's an opportunity for us to catch up with each other, talk, joke, try to make each other laugh. We may have all kinds of counters. We may see how many times we can make Jerry pass out or almost pass out with laughter. We'll see how many times Daphne rolls her eyes and just is ready to turn off the Zoom. We'll see what we can do with each other, and it's a lot of fun. And also, besides just talking, we do have a little bit of a more fun element to it. We always kind of pick a little bit of a game and something to talk about to spur conversation or compete against each other in fun, goofy little ways. And it's a blast. And it's like 30 to 40 minutes, a quick little listen every week. So if you enjoy spending a little time with us and hearing us be completely ridiculous, if you want more, go check out Buffalo Buffalo. It's a good time.
Yeah, and you can find all the links that you'll ever need at buffalobuffalopodcast.com. Oh, the feedback
there goes the wonderful feedback phone.
Decided it was time.
So, see if anybody's got anything to say about the stuff. Let me get me another bite. All right, we do have some feedback for the stuff this week, which is good. Love that. Had a few people reach out and leave some feedbacks. Love it, love it. So I'll let you go ahead and kick this one off.
Okay, well, hello Mark, says, I love the movie still, makes me not want to eat marshmallow fluff, though.
Mm-hmm, yeah, I couldn't imagine touching this stuff. After, during... Before, I don't know, whatever. I don't know. Yeah, I'm with you there.
Do you still have any left?
No. No. I don't need to have it with me ever.
Just for that one night of recording?
Just for a bit. That's the only reason I'll do it. A bit on an audio podcast that nobody actually sees, except for you three.
It was great. It drove me crazy because you wouldn't tell me what it was.
Yeah. Catherine, always coming through, says, the stuff was so much fun. I can't imagine eating something that bubbles out of the ground, but it did have a catchy and convincing theme song. One lick is never enough of the stuff. Jason's grocery rampage was very satisfying, and I rewatched the attack scene with Ben the Doberman twice. He's the best boy, giving lots of kisses that we're supposed to see as an attack, I guess? Yeah.
We thought so too.
Oh, Chocolate Chip Charlie with his registered lethal weapon hands. His ending was sad, but those effects were awesome. I agree. I watched another of Larry Cohen's movies about a week ago, Maniac Cop, and it had some of the same face-twisting techniques. I forget who named them, but thought Stuffies was the perfect name for the infected. I'm really looking forward to this week's episode with the Buffalo guys. Yay! I've enjoyed all the episodes so far and wonder how long Daphne can hold her title of Queen of Games. I'm going to predict she'll win at least 8 of the first 11 games.
Ooh,
Don't give her a bigger head than she ought.
Thank you, Catherine. I do have a tiara.
And thanks for listening to Buffalo. We've kind of been plugging it a little bit here and there, especially with this episode. So usually I wait till like the shout outs and stuff at the end, but I'll do this one now that, again, we talked about during the episode. If you enjoyed Jeff and Jerry on here and kind of the banter and ridiculousness that the four of us bring when we're together, if you want more of that, then check out Buffalo Podcast, where we do just that for 30 something minutes. We're ridiculous. We're just trying to make each other laugh and talking about whatever and playing games, and it's just a fun time. Come hang with us because we're having a blast doing it.
Yeah, and it's only like a 30 to 35 minute podcast, so it's perfect for commuting. If you need a good laugh before you start your workday, I think it can fit that pretty well. And this last one is from Harrison. This one was so weird and wild. Absolutely it was.
I agree.
Well, if you'd like to submit feedback like Mark, Catherine, or Harrison, you can find us and everything Run for Your Lives at runforyourlivespodcast.com. We are also on Facebook and Instagram at Run for Your Lives Podcast. And if you're enjoying the show, tell your friends. We're available on all the podcast players, including Apple, Spotify, and YouTube. And yes, YouTube actually is a podcasting platform now, so you can find us there. And if you feel the need to show us a little love, visit Apple Podcasts and give us a review there, because that's the best way to share the love and get us out there even more. We really appreciate it.
We really do, absolutely. And of course, speaking of sharing the love, gotta give those shout outs to things going on in the Podcastica universe around us. My other podcast, Strange Indeed, with Rima. We are just well, we covered 2012, so I can, channel some John Cusack a little bit. We are hurtling towards the end as we speak. We're coming up very close to the end. We've covered the penultimate episode, and so that one is out as you're listening to this. If you're listening to this right when this drops this weekend, and then so next week on like Tuesday night, Wednesday morning, our episode for the series finale of Sweet Tooth will be up. We're right there at the end. I've already watched the finale, so I'm done with Sweet Tooth at this point. We haven't covered the last episode yet, so I have to relive that finale and watch it again to take notes and cover it. But man, I'm not going to say much because you're going to have to tune into Strange Indeed next week to see my thoughts on that. But it's quite a ride that Sweet Tooth took us on for the past 3 seasons, and enjoyed being on that ride. So it's been a fun show to podcast about.
Yeah, I am going to miss it. I'm going to miss Gus and Big Man and everyone, because we've grown to love those characters so much.
Yes. But yeah, other great stuff going on in Podcastica. Of course, the cast of us continuing their Walking Dead rewatch this week with Season 3, Episode 4, The Killer Within, or Killer Within. So you can go check that out. Dragon Cast, going with House of the Dragon. And this week, great episode. We had Rennie and Veronica covering this week's episode 6, with returning Season 1 host of Dragon Cast, Rima, back on there. And that was great to listen to her get to kind of dive back into the world of Westeros and all the things going on there with dragons and Targaryens and craziness.
All of that so much.
Yeah, great. Definitely check that out. House of the Dragon's been great, and the podcast has been just as great. Also, Let It Rip, the Bearcast with Lucy and Peter covering The Bear. They did season 3 is they're in now, but they did episodes 3 and 4 together since they skipped an episode with the big Podcastica host meetup thing in Scotland last week. Not a big one, just a few. Really just Jason and Karen and David over there with him. But, there's a little meetup for some UK Zeds, which is really cool. So with that busyness, they didn't get to do an episode last week. So they combined 2 episodes, so 3 and 4, Doors and Violet out there. So you can go check those out. Cobra Kai is back with its final season right now. And they're doing an interesting release where they dropped the first 5 episodes, and then the next 5 come out in November. And then the final 5 of the final season come out sometime in 2025, sometime next year, probably March or so. So they're breaking it up into 3 parts. So usually Cobra Kai cast does 2 episodes at a time, but since we're getting that kind of release, they're savoring it a little bit. So only 1 episode at a time. So this first one is up. You can get Richard and Jason talking about episode 1 of this final season, Peacetime in the Valley. Rima not able to be on that first one, but she'll be back for episode 2. So definitely check that out. Cobra Kai's back, and I'm loving it. That show is cheesy in all the best ways, and I love it so much. And then, of course, give some love to our friends over at TV Podcast Industries. The Boys Season 4 has wrapped and is done for, and they've had all their coverage of that over there. So now you can go check out their coverage of the finale. They've been covering that show. What a crazy show. Ridiculous show, but awesome as well. Go check out their coverage. And then, as we mentioned, Buffalo earlier, so just one last time, buffalopodcast.com. Go check us out. It's a lot of fun. But aside from that, you can always come back right here to Run for Your Lives for more crazy monster movie, creature, feature, disaster, flick goodness. Daphne, what are we bringing to them next week?
Well, 2 demon brothers scheme to escape the underworld to the land of the living by enlisting the aid of a troubled teen in a film that combines eerie visuals with a compelling storyline about facing one's demons, both literal and metaphorical. We are discussing the 2022 film Wendell and Wild. Was directed by Henry Selick, and it was co-written by Henry Selick and the amazing Jordan Peele.
Yeah.
And Peel, along with Keegan-Michael Key, voice the characters of Wendell and Wild.
Yeah, it's a fun one, for sure.
It is, with a lot of underlying meaning and discussion points.
Yeah, we're diving back into some stop-motion animation outside of the world of Laika, but it's really fun, something different. Loved it. So go check it out next week. We'd like to hear your feedback and all of the good stuff for that one as well, so get on it.
I will say that is not an episode where, well, we tried. We did try, but it was difficult with that movie to keep it like G-rated like we usually do for animated films.
Yeah, no, warning on that one, we're not. Yeah, most animated movies, we keep it like kid-friendly. We decided not to on that one. And when you check out the movie, it is mostly kid-friendly. I mean, as far as the movie itself, PG, parental guidance. But give you the warning that, just not a podcast episode to let the kiddos tune into if they do.
Definitely not.
Unless they want to and you're okay with it, then, more listeners we enjoy.
Yeah. Well, with that, we've reached the end of our episode. Thanks, everyone, for listening. And thank you, Jeff and Jerry, for joining us for the stuff.
Yeah.
It was just as fun as I thought that it would be.
Mm-hmm.
I'm Daphne.
And I'm Pake.
And if you have to run, you better run for your lives.
Bye-bye.